During the American Civil War, most women were on the home front, sometimes near military action, but more often distant from the battlefields. However, women influenced the war effort, encouraging men to enlist, finding ways to volunteer to support their cause, and adding their voices to support or protest the war. The power of the home front to keep armies in the field was quickly recognized. For some women, this opportunity brought new social roles and praise. For other women, particularly in the South, the power of the home front put them directly in the path of war. At certain times, the Civil War home front was invaded, bringing war and battle directly to the doorsteps of women. Some women, in both North and South, volunteered as nurses, usually in established hospitals or when war came to their community. For some, this was a revolutionary step and a role outside the home. For example, Phoebe Pember volunteered as a hospital matron at one of the largest hospitals in Richmond, Virginia. Susie King Taylor, a former enslaved woman who had found freedom, volunteered as a nurse with the United States Colored Troops. Clara Barton took medical supplies directly to field hospitals near active battlefields, and these supplies helped to save many soldiers' lives. Mary Ann Bickerdike, sometimes called Mother Bickerdike, was influential in the medical scene in the Western Theater with General Sherman's army. Kate Cumming left her Alabama home and volunteered in Confederate hospitals, eventually winning respect from doubtful surgeons. Some Northern women volunteered to teach freedmen, to learn to read, write, so that they would be able to find better jobs and make their way in their newfound freedom. Many women wrote letters to their soldiers in the military, and some women kept important diaries, all of which are helpful insights as we study the roles of women during the American Civil War. Mary Chestnut kept one of the most famous diaries of Southern women. She did edit her diary after the war, but what she wrote still provides valuable insight about upper Southern society. In New York City, Maria Ledig Daly kept a journal detailing her activities in Northern society and her views on the war from a distance. In Winchester, Virginia, multiple women kept diaries, giving many perspectives on war's invasion of their home front. They are sometimes called the Devil Diarists because the majority of women supported the Confederacy and complained about Union soldiers. An influential woman who Abraham Lincoln once said started this great war was Harriet Beecher Stowe. In the 1850s, she wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, a novel that was important to the abolitionist movement. Harriet Tubman, an enslaved woman who escaped, became a conductor on the Underground Railroad. During the Civil War, she volunteered as a nurse and also did some scouting for the Union Army. The American Civil War gave some women the opportunity to push society's boundaries in unconventional ways. Dr. Mary Walker volunteered as a surgeon with the Union Army and became the first, and so far only woman to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. Some women, both North and South, disguised themselves as soldiers and fought in the military ranks. Other women spied and passed information to military officers. Some of the famous spies of the war include Rose O'Neal Greenhow, Belle Boyd, and Elizabeth Van Lew. The American Civil War affected thousands of women. We don't know all of their stories, or sometimes even their names, but Civil War veterans recognized the loss, sacrifice, the struggles, and the triumphs of women who supported the war. One writer reflected, "It is not unusual for women of all countries to weep and to work for those who encounter the perils of war. But the American women, after giving up to the ranks of the gathering and advancing army, their husbands and sons, their brothers and lovers, proceeded to organize relief for them, and they did it with a self-controlled and rational consideration of the wisest and best means of accomplishing their purpose, which showed them to be the products and representatives of a new social era and a new political development."
To stay up to date on all the latest and coolest videos, please subscribe to the Trust's YouTube channel.